Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm so grateful that you're joining us for our first event of the year, not just our first event, our first online event of the year. And we're going to have several of them coming up this year. And do follow our YouTube channel. There'll be these live streams that will live on there. There will be short videos that we're going to start really producing for you to give people the general idea of what PPC Live is about, but also to educate, to really give you guys that edge on what you should be doing in your paid search career. We're going to be chopping and changing all our videos and our talks so that you get like a little bit of a snippet of what's going on. But I'm going to now pass on to my fantastic co-host here. Jyll Saskin Gales, who's also a PPC Live ambassador, but more so a fantastic Google Ads coach. You should definitely follow the work that she's doing as well. So thank you so much, Jyll, and take it away.
Thank you, Anu, for that introduction. As you can hear, I have laryngitis right now, so I will keep this short and sweet. I'm Jyll Saskin Gales, a Google Ads coach and the founder of the Inside Google Ads course and podcast. I'm thrilled to bring you the third PPC Live online today. We're going to be learning about AI models, customer journeys, GA4, and so much more. Our first speaker today is Gokce Yesilbas. She's a paid media consultant, and today she'll be speaking about AI in ad copy testing. Let's have a look.
I'm Gokce. I'm a senior paid media consultant at Vervant, and I recently finished my master degree in business intelligence and digital marketing. I'm a Brighton SEO speaker, and this April I will also speak at Hero Conference. I'm a creator of All About Digital Marketing and Data Analytics newsletter on LinkedIn. You can scan this QR code and follow my newsletter as well. And lastly, I am a cat mother. I have two beautiful cats, Büftek and Souffle. I wish to talk about them today, but we are going to talk about ad copy testing with AI models. First, we will look at types of AI models. And then we will talk about ad copy testing structure, how can we structure our hypothesis, our methodology, and last I will show my case study findings to you. So let's start. Have you ever think about, is ChatGPT enough your PPC tasks? Actually, there are more AI models that you can explore, and you need a full palette of AI models. For example, there are text-focused AI models, for example, GPT models, Claude models, and there are image generation models. Also, there are video or audio generation models. You can easily generate images with Midjourney or Flux, or you can easily generate video or audio with Sora or 11 Labs. But now, most of the mainstream AI models is becoming a multimodal where you can create both text or images together as an input or output. But today we will mostly talk about text-focused ones for our ad copy testing. So there are more LLMs than ChatGPT for your ad copy testing, such as Llama, Gemini, Claude, or even DeepSeek. So, after we explore the world of LLMs, now we can look at the ad copy testing. First of all, in the hypothesis, you should ask yourself what questions you would like to answer in your ad copy testing and create your proposition. You can create your proposition according to your goals, your KPIs, or even your client's expectations. For example, you can create a hypothesis like ad copy generated by AI model X will perform better than human written ad copy. Or you can create a hypothesis like ad copy generated by model A will outperform by model B. Or even you can test multilingual AI-generated ad copy will yield higher engagement metrics than an English one. But I will talk about this multilingual ad copy generation in my Hero Conference talk, so stay tuned. And also you can test purple kittens in the ad copy. Maybe it makes your brand pop. So let's look at the main part, methodology. In the methodology part, it's important to choosing your models, formulating your prompts, gathering your data, analyzing your results to ensure a methodological approach. So I craft a methodological structure for you, and all you need is for ad copy testing is here. First of all, in the experimental setup, you can choose either A/B testing or multivariate testing in your ad copy testing. And then you can run your ad copy testing in platforms such as search ads, PMax, or meta ads. But be careful to be consistent in terms of time targeting, budget, and bid strategy. And then you should select your AI models. There are many AI models that you can easily use, and even you can test the human-generated ad copies together with them. For the ad copy generation, you can generate your ad copies in the AI model's native platform. For example, in the ChatGPT's interface, you can easily create your ad copies in there, or you can use the tools like Langtail or ThinkBuddy, where you can access all of the AI models in a one single interface. And I highly recommend using Langtail rather than the AI models' native platforms. So then, in the ad copy generation process, you need the standardized prompt for your each AI model. And you can use different kind of prompt techniques when you are crafting your prompt. For example, you can use few-shot technique, cross-lingual, expert simulator, or chain of thought. And don't forget to include your brand guidelines, unique selling points, and your CTRs in your prompt. Also, you can also include the campaign-specific needs, such as number of copies, length, or even your search keywords. And last, you have to determine your KPIs. You can select metrics like CTR, ad strength, CPC, or conversion. But I believe for the ad copy, most important metric can be CTR. And you can analyze your tests with statistical analysis or ANOVA analysis. So in this graph, you can see most of the text-based prompt techniques that you can employ in your prompt process. And as I said before, I highly recommend to using Langtail. Why? It's because it gives you a direct access to various AI models, APIs, and it gives you a flexibility, and you can avoid predefined limitations in the native platforms, for example, word count restrictions. Sometimes when you ask something to ChatGPT, ChatGPT's answers cut out because of the word count restrictions. But if you can use the Langtail, there is no word count restrictions. And you can also customize according to specific AI model characteristic. As you can see in this screenshot, you can arrange max token numbers from there, and I'm mostly using highest max tokens. And it's also simple to use for marketers. And you can run all of this process in the Langtails playground feature. So let's look at our test design. You can run A/B test or multivariate test, and for your A/B testing, I'm recommending to running this test minimum 4 weeks period after you pass the learning period. And you can choose medium level budget campaign according to your all of the monthly budgets, and you should use 2 AI models. And you can use the Google's or Meta's native experiment feature. For example, for the search ads, you can select custom experiment and you can create your trial campaign. You can test different ad copies generated by 2 different AI models. And in this test, your independent variables will be your AI models such as ChatGPT or Claude or the other ones. And your dependent variables will be your KPIs. For the multivariate testing, I recommend to running this test minimum 4 to 6 weeks. And you can select either medium or high-level budget campaign. And you should use minimum of 2 AI models, more than 2 AI models. And you can experiment this test manually. If you are not using smart bidding strategies, you can set your ad rotation as a do not optimize for ensure equal impression distribution. But if you are using smart bidding strategies, you can also select ad rotation as a optimize. It's also best practice. And you can structure your campaign like that. You can also create different language ad groups, and you can insert your AI generated ads into it. Or you can create different product category ad groups, and also you can include your AI generated ads in your campaign. In that structure, your independent variables will be your AI models, and if you want to test also language specific things, the language also will be your independent variable. And your dependent variables will be your metrics again. So let's look at the prompt engineering. Instead of writing like this short prompts, write like this. So let's look at in detail. First of all, I am highly recommend to using chain of thought prompting with expert simulator technique. As you can see in here, I started my prompt with as a Google search ads expert, and I also say thinking step by step, and I split my prompts as a step. And I also feed my prompt with my examples. You should include your ad copy examples in your prompt. Then you can specify your search keywords, your negative keywords. As you can see here, I said based on the best practices for flight industry search ad copies, you may use the following keywords in your ad copies. It's important to include your search keywords in your ad copies. So as a best practice, we should highlight this in our prompt. And you can also include your unique selling points like reliable and affordable airline or direct flight advantage, and you can also include your CTRs. You can mention campaign-specific ad copy length or numbers, because most of the AI models are not good at the math. So I use this method at least 24 characters and at most 30 characters. But be careful about your output, because sometimes AI models can be a mistake. And lastly, I include the do not show final review at the end of the reply as a last step, because I don't want to see any reasoning explanations in my answer, in my output. So I just want to see my headlines and descriptions, and I don't want to use my tokens. We need to also analyze our data, and I run ad copy testing with AI models. And in my ad copy testing, here's a brief of my testing. I will keep it short. I run the multivariate testing in the Google search ads with a 40 days time period in a medium level budget campaign. I run this test with ChatGPT 4o, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and human-generated ad copies in various languages like English, German, and Turkish. I also run this test in Langtail. I use cross-lingual expert simulator and chain of thought prompt techniques. And I measure the CTR ad strength and CPC. And lastly, I analyze with descriptive statistics and two-way ANOVA analysis. So let's look at the results. In my ad copy testing, ad strength results, you can see Claude Sonnet 3.5 was the winner with an excellent ad strength in German and Turkish ad copy. But when we look at the CTRs, ChatGPT was the winner for German and Turkish ad copy. So, while human-generated ads generated more traffic, AI-generated ad copies were more efficient. And ChatGPT 4o also performed well in low source languages like German or Turkish. So let's look at the English one. In the English, human-generated ad copy was the winner, and then Claude follows it, because Claude models are more friendly in English. And also, when I'm producing the ad copies, ChatGPT 4o produced similar output in English language. It can be because ChatGPT's extensive training data in English might lead to more generic or average output. So, what's next? You can also test wisely with the latest AI models, such as ChatGPT o3 Mini-High, Gemini, Llama, and DeepSeek, and then you can learn and scale in your campaigns, and you can share with the PPC live community. Thank you for listening to my talk. Let's connect for more PPC stuff.
Our next speaker today is Russell McAthy. He's the CEO and co-founder of Ringside Data. And, well, I'll let him tell you what he's going to be talking about.
I'm going to say I'm going to swear a lot, because is in most slides in my deck, and I am apologies if you are offended, but you. I also, watched your talk, is amazing. I now feel so dumb. So I'm going to swear a lot to make up for my lack of intelligence. Also, you work for Rogers, who I've just texted, and your talk was amazing. Thank you very much. My name's Ross McAthy. I run a company called Ringside Data. We are a marketing data platform. We kind of compete with GA. If you hate GA4, yay? Yep, cool. Speak to me at some point. Unfortunately, the next talk, I feel a little bit bad for the next speaker, but I did say I was going to make that joke. Okay, so there's a bunch of people here who are going to talk about data. I'm not going to speak about my platform other than there's 2 slides halfway through. I also said, and I spoke to Anu at SMX London, and she was like, can you speak at my next event? And I was like, yes, of course. Are you going to speak about PPC? No. And she still said, I can come and speak, which is amazing. So, first part, there are 3 parts to my presentation. The first part is how you guys can your KPIs, right? Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is Napoleon. Now, everyone knows who Napoleon is, yeah? Yeah, cool. He was short, right? That's a known fact.
Yes, sir.
He was 5'2". Now, I'm not trying to be sizist, but 5'2" is reasonably short. And so that's why he's known as being short. Now, does anyone here know that 5'2" is actually 5'2" in French feet? And in every other country, 5'2" is actually 5'6.5". That's the why we all think he's short, is that isn't the imperial measurements for feet. It's a completely different measurement. And 5'6" was actually the average size for a male guy in France at the time. So exactly. So it's not actually, he wasn't short.
I'm the only French here.
I like how you just confidently said you're the only French person in the room. Like you've got a badge or something. Only French person? Ah! We have 2 French people! Cool. So he wasn't actually short, and yet everyone thinks he's short. Okay. I also promised you I wouldn't be drinking. Because last time I did the whole talk with a beer, and she didn't like the photos. So, who here knows which is the larger? Is a pint in the US the same size as a pint in the UK? Or is it larger or bigger? Who knows?
Larger.
UK, is that just British pride? Is that what that is? It has to be bigger. It's amazing. I did this same talk last week and it was mainly Americans. And they were like, well, UK's bigger, US is bigger, obviously. Okay, a UK pint is larger than the US pint, right? That's why we're alcoholics compared to US. That's why they can't drink. Okay, so now we get technical. Which is bigger, a UK fluid ounce or a US fluid ounce?
US.
You knew the answer. I did set that up a little bit. So the US has a larger fluid ounce, which makes no sense. So, big question now. How many pints high is Napoleon? Napoleon is 11.3 pints high, and that is statistically correct. We worked it out. Okay, so why am I talking about this? Well, the biggest issue we have, and we see this all the time, is that we talk about KPIs as standardized forms of measurement, but they are not. I've just spoken about feet, I've spoken about pints, and I've spoken about fluid ounces, and they're not the same thing. So, does KPI stand for key performance indicator, or does KPI stand for kept purposely incomprehensible? And that's the first time I've done this talk, and I've not fucked that up. Cool. So, everyone here knows how to calculate add to basket rate. Yep. There's nodding. I want them vocals. Yes? Everyone knows that. So you have this super widget. You want to work out how many people clicked on that and went to there. Yeah? Cool? So we did this thing. We made a funnel. It's really pretty. Cool. So there are, I'm just skipping over my sales deck. My CMO is going to be really livid. There are at least 4 ways that you can do this. We've actually found 29. There are 29 different ways that we found that people have asked us to work out add to cart rate. Okay, so the first one, and I kind of want people to, I want to see some visible nods as we go through this. That's how I do it, okay? So we count if a person at any point in their journey sees a product page and then they add to cart. Who here would think that that's the way that you would count add to cart? We count 1 here, 1 here. There's a couple of, yeah? Yeah? Go on, I'm going to give you the second one. You've gone a little bit early. Okay, you've added something to your cart, but then later on, in a future visit, you've viewed a product, and then later on, you've added something to cart outside that visit. Anyone here? Okay, cool. I had about 400 people, and I had 2 that said this one. Cool. This is the mental one. I had 2 completely different clients, different sectors, use this one. Someone viewed these 3 products. They added that 3rd product to the cart. That counted as 3. That is mental. And then they had a 4th product view. This is legitimate ways brands are capturing their add to cart. And the last one, viewed product A, viewed product B, viewed product C, added product C to the cart, viewed product D. Is that's probably more nods across the group. Okay, very different add to cart rates, right? And then on top of that, well, each one of them will have a very different add to cart rate based on the product that you're looking at. So each product will have a very different add to cart rate. Who here's, like, this is a question, who here knows what this type of chart's called? I'm a massive nerd, by the way. Does anyone know what this type of chart's called? Because it's sexy. It's a sexy chart. That was an interesting laugh. It's called a violin chart. Sexy chart. So it shows you the distribution of the data. So you see this scatter plot here. It's kind of saying that here is where the median is, but you should see the lower and upper quartiles. What this is really good at showing is when you compare different data sets where you have a very broad section of data. So for add to cart, you can see where you have very different products. So here are all of the different products for a brand, and you can see where the distribution is. So if you moused over any of these, you could see that product is a very high add to cart rate. So which one of those is the correct one? Because Anu went early with number 1 out of 4. It's a bold approach to this, right? There are 4 of them. Which one is correct? Pardon? The biggest one. That is a CEO answering that question. Yeah. It depends, which is the worst answer to any question ever, but it depends who's asking, right? Because if you're looking at the option 1, that's the management answer, is I just want to know how many people came to the website, and of those people who came to the website, how many of those went to added something to their cart. Number 4 is the specific user. So this is where you've got the merchandising question. So how many people viewed a product and they added that specific item to their cart? And then the 2nd and 3rd and 4th one are all kind of user experience and understanding how the website works. The biggest thing here is the numbers have no way of speaking for themselves. We, as data people, and as much as like you all consider yourselves PPC people, unlike the SEO crowd, which I'm going to shit on for 2 seconds, like the PPC crowd are way more data literate than the SEO crowd. They're the fluffy crowd. You guys understand data. So you guys know, I'm going to piss off half of my audience, but we have to make sure that we imbue data with meaning. That makes this so much more valuable. So what's fucked? We're at number 1 of 3 things that are fucked right now. Number 1, KPIs. We need to make sure that they're no longer purposefully incomprehensible. Can't believe I got that right. So we need to make sure that our KPI calculations are communicated better. So we need to make sure the naming conventions are better. Because everyone was like, yes, I know how to do my add to cart rate, but there are at least 4 and there are many more that we can talk about. So the next one. I'm sorry, PPC people, but you do have to give a shit about people who are existing customers. You can't just go over new business all the time, right? So we need to unfuck your customer retention. So we know, right? You know this. You don't just focus on new customers. We know how important it is to go after existing customers, right? Yeah? Yeah? I'm loving your vibe. It's a strong vibe. Okay. Some numbers, guys, right? The blended CVR for this brand is 2.53. A new customer is 2.4. Existing customer is 3.57. Everyone cool? Yes, great. We're spending €1, I forgot I changed this, euro and 28 cents for that individual cost per visit. It is costing us 5 times more for a new customer. That's fucked up. Why are we spending so much time looking at new customers Why are we not spending a little bit of time focused on non-new customers, the existing customers? We should be spending a little bit more time investing in those users. Very blended across 20 different clients, data, it's a load of bollocks, but I'm just going to use it as a theme right now. 47% of new customers converted in their first visit in e-commerce brands. They came in, they saw, they bought. This is on lower AOV brands that we work with in e-com. The interesting bit here is only 17% of existing customers convert their first visit after a previous conversion. So they're very unlikely to convert when they come back the first time, which means that they're engaging with that brand. They want more content. They are looking for customer satisfaction as part of that initial visit after the fact that they're converted. We need to talk to those people very differently than we were previously. So the game that we're playing is what is the most efficient way to bring someone back to the website. Okay, so we need to segment those customers better. Who here knows what RFM is? PPC crowd, I'm expecting at least one hand, guys. Come on. Someone must know what RFM is. Someone must be in the industry more than 10 years. Come on. Yes! There was a nervous person who put their hand up late. I'm all in. What? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Woo! I would say I'll get you a drink, but it's free anyway. Okay, recency, frequency, and you did it in the right order, which is obvious because it's RFM. Okay, so for everyone else, this is as old as marketing, right? So pre-newspaper, we did RFM. And we still use it now, but not apparently that often. This is a really good way of understanding and segmenting customers, right? And I'm going to talk you through it, and I'll send this deck round, and you can send it around an email as well, so you can take this back to your businesses and your agencies. First thing, what was the most recent purchase for this customer? The next thing, frequency. How many times has this customer purchased over their lifetime with that brand? Next one, monetary. What is the total monetary value of this customer? How much money have they generated with that business? You can do this with any company because you have the raw data in their order database. You don't have to have that data in analytics or whatever. This is just purely their sales data. It goes back as long as that company's existed. This works for companies that are 3 months old. It works for companies that are 30 years old, right? Once you block those customers into those segments, you can then group them on a grid. So you know how those customers have engaged with you, how recent they have. So recency 1, a long time ago. Recency 5, very recent. You have frequency and monetary aggregated together. So monetary and frequency 1, they've just converted. Low frequency, 1, 2, 3 conversions, very low revenue. Bottom right, brand new customers, not worth that much to you yet. People who've just absolutely spanked their bank. On the top right, I have to be careful how I say that. On the top right are your champions. They're the ones who've recently keep on purchasing. I thought that was a person, and that is a piece of wood. And then you go through this flow of there's different groups of people, and this is how a lot of people in the BI space, in finance, also have a really clear understanding of this. So it's a really good way of segmenting those customers so you can speak to them differently as much as you can target them differently. And I press the wrong button. So we can use that data and target people so differently. So if you overlay website conversion rate segmented by those customers, something really interesting happens. Low CVR on these people who have just purchased. Super high CVR, people who have not purchased for a long time who are high revenue. Super high CVR, people who have just purchased, high revenue. The story that you need to take from this is these people have spent low amounts of money. They're still testing the brand out. They don't understand whether you're actually a viable customer for your brand. If they're willing to spend a lot of money in that first purchase, you're likely going to bring them back. If they've not been to the website for a long time, you're going to spend a lot of time in that reacquisition cost of driving those customers back. But the conversion rate is going to be really high. So if you can go and find them and bring them back, CVR is going to be high. I think I just said the same thing. You can push this into your CRM systems. You can also, I realized I'm pressing the wrong button. You can push the propensity scores back into paid audiences. There's the PPC reference.
Thank you.
So you can push the propensity to convert back into Google Ads, you can push it back into Meta. So you can then say, well, that person's in that segment, therefore we're going to make them more likely to convert. The world is your oyster. My CTO really loved that picture. Cool. So what's just dealing with existing customers as existing customers. We can fix that using RFM. Cool. How do we unfuck ROI calculations? Who here does ROI at the moment? This is my drink. Do you actually? Okay, you do. Cool. Who here has a brand that they work with, or they run a brand that has influencer cost? Really? It's 2025. Surely someone here has influencers. Okay. Influencers for this brand was that for a week. I should have become an influencer. Like that's not just one influencer. That's a few hundred. But like, what we need to do is take into consideration the media cost associated with influencers, other channels that aren't just Google Ads. There are many other channels, Meta being obvious one, but there are costs associated with other channels as well. You pay your PPC, your SEO agency. There is cost associated with that. The other thing is, a lot of brands have costs that aren't just revenue. So does anyone here load margin or COGS into their logic? Yeah? That is so uncommon still that people actually look at the cost of goods sold. So that's what I said, COGS. I'm always told off for using acronyms. So cost of goods sold is, if you have, let's just say e-commerce, you're selling a jacket that's sold for 200 euros, but the jacket actually cost them 40 euros to make. Therefore, there is 160 profit margin, whatever you want to call. The thing you need to be careful of, especially in a marketing space, is who you're speaking to. So going back to when I'm talking earlier about the add to basket rate, if you start talking about margin to someone in finance, they're like, you don't know how many other costs there are. So you have to be careful when you're talking about margin and gross margin, and there's so many other words that I don't understand in the finance space. So be careful with that. But from a ROAS perspective, there's a massive difference between return on ad spend, which makes sense, right? ROAS, return on ad spend. Why did the industry decide that MOAS and POAS stood for margin of ad spend or profit of ad spend? Doesn't make sense, but we've decided that they're the acronyms we're going to use. You need to take into consideration the cost of goods sold. It's a massive influence on this. Then we can dig deeper. So, who here was aware of the influence honey scandal? Yeah? What a fucking joke. There's a bunch of influencers that are moaning that honey stole their money. Completely comical. But we had a bunch of clients that had a lot of influencers involved, and this is the affiliate visit in this that was an influencer in this case. This affiliate claimed 100% of that conversion. These are all of the visits, right? So there's a group here, and you're all looking, paid search. Yeah. Paid search at the top. Right. How much of the £260? Yes, £260 of this conversion do you think went to the affiliate? According to the affiliate. Pardon? Everyone's quiet. Come on. All of it, of course. How much do you think Google Ads said? All of it, of course. How much do you think the brand actually wanted to give it?
All of them. None of it.
None of it, right? Yeah, because they don't want to pay the affiliate the commissions. How much should they have got?
Only if it's a new customer.
If it's a new customer, that's not an answer I've had before. Good answer though. What if I was to, this is a different scenario, guys, right? Every single one of these visits is a bounce until the last one. What credit would you give to the other visits?
Depends on your attribution model.
It does. Most of the attribution models are shit, but we can have that conversation later. So if all of these were bounces and this was not a bounce and the person converted, your default response is to go, well, we're not going to give credit to any of these because they were all bounced visits, right? So why do we not look at what happened in those visits when we're talking about attribution? We just talk about visits and the counter visits. We don't talk about what happened in them. And that's because Google has brainwashed all of you to think visits are important. Why don't we look at what happens in those visits themselves? Because I don't know if any of you have read the words here, because that's not what I do when I present slides, but like this user added items to cart throughout this journey. So each one of those visits has different value. So when we actually look at how much we want to pay that affiliate, we want to distribute the value of that conversion based on what that customer actually did within those visits. Not just that they exist, but like, did they view multiple products? Did they actually navigate to the bits that show that that person is likely to convert in the future? And this is what we really need from attribution. Because this distribution means that this isn't a U-shaped model or a bathtub model, which apparently was a thing. It's not first touch, it's not last touch. Like, this is looking at the value of every single touch point and saying, this user did this, that's what they're telling us. They're saying, this visit that I did was important. This visit wasn't as important. And you'll see here, the visit before the converting visit got more credit than the converting visit. And of course, I found an example that was interesting when I put this screenshot in, but this happens a lot. And the affiliate visit, not much at all. But that's the commission that we wanted to pay them. So one of the big things here is about strategic thinking, is aligning strategy to the approach, because it's not about last click. Who's seen this before? ABC, SLA. Cool, because I made this up 10 years ago, and if you've seen it and you've seen it, great, because it's spreading. ABC is easy to remember. SLA, service level agreement. How satisfied someone is when they convert, how loyal they are. Are they going to come back again multiple times? And are they going to become an advocate for the brand? The top part is very common. There's many different acronyms there for ABC. But we've got 3 different brands here with very different approaches. And especially if we're talking about understanding the role of a marketing function through the entire attribution model, we need to look at the role that each one of those ABCs have, as well as the SLAs. This brand is not investing in their existing customers much. The brand on the right is doing way more at driving conversions, but at least they're investing a little bit post-funnel activity as well. So that was me saying it, and we haven't changed the name, but I said it in Hungary last week, so I quoted myself. How do we unfuck this? So we're not understanding return on investment properly, because we've got revenue, we need margin, we need attributed margin. We don't just need normal last click. Last click sucks. It's ridiculous. If you're still using last click this year, come and speak to me afterwards. So we've learned a bunch of stuff. AI is so good at making dinosaur pictures. I don't know if you played with it, but dinosaur pictures are amazing. If you noticed earlier, and I'll send the deck round, but the eyebrow, the dinosaur went up, if you didn't notice, on a previous slide. Which was, can you make his eyebrow go up? And it just did it. It's amazing. So KPIs, you need to understand KPIs better. Segmenting new and existing is not as simple as just saying that. If you're not looking at RFM, which only one person in the room even knew what it meant, so you should be considering that in your sort of learning and how you take on this industry. And return on investment is not just about understanding ROI, it's about understanding the attributed value of everything as well. Thank you very much. And that's the bit about how PayPal Honey isn't just about PayPal Honey and influencers can go f*** themselves.
Our final speaker today is Baris Asa. He's a growth marketing consultant specializing in SaaS startups, and today he'll be sharing his insights about GA4 in action, essential skills and hidden features.
Thank you for the introduction, Sergi. So now we are talking about GA4. We are all PPC people, so I will just focus on essential skills and hidden features. We have many PPC, we have many GA4 haters, and we have many GA4 lovers here. I'm not a big fan of GA4, but think like it's our toxic bus. We need to handle it, we need to learn to live with it. So let's look that perspective and get what gets unlocked the potential of GA4 together. So I'm Baris Asa. I have 8 years experience in growth and marketing. I'm following reverse career path. I started with startup, but now I'm working for more corporate clients. And I have experience in these fields, MarTech, mostly SaaS, now HR Tech. And I'm a finance graduate. I love playing with numbers, even in my childhood. And so maybe that's why I have deep interest in topics like this. So in real life, I'm a different person. So I love watching animes, as you can see there. I love playing video games, especially RP games. And you couldn't believe I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. So yeah, here you go. We have an agenda here, but before that, there is one thing is very important, because when we think about Google Analytics, we think like it's complicated. But I guess it's because there are lots of different terms in Google Analytics, like dimensions and metrics. So there is a website about it. It's like data.ga4spy.com. So you can learn, you can see the details and the definitions of these all terms here. So you don't need to know every term because it's very complicated. There are almost more than 200 terms in here. So add it to your bookmark. And before I start, there is one more important thing. It's Universal Analytics and GA4. We know with this change, Universal Analytics based on session-based tracking, and GA4 now focusing on event-based tracking. And they are totally different approaches. In Universal Analytics, it bundles all the interaction of users into a session groups. But Google Analytics treats every action of user a different event. So that's the main difference of these two platforms. And we can start with the essential settings. Data retention is the most important for me, because in default it comes as 2 months. What does it mean? It means when Google stores a user data, now 2 months later, if user can't go back to our website, Google deletes the data of the user, and you can't see the data of this user on your report. It's horrible. So first thing first, after you set up your Google Analytics property, you need to change the data retention to 2 months to 14 months. You can do it under the settings, data retention screen. So the next thing is default session durations. Think about it. We are using our browsers, and there are many tabs now. And I think I find out sometimes there are tabs from a week ago in my browser. But in this situation, default session duration is very different because Google says it's 30 minutes, but when you came back after just 1 hour, Google says default session duration, the session duration timeout. So we can change the session duration in admin settings under the data streams. You need to choose your data streams. In the configure tag, you just need to click adjust session timeout, and then you can adjust this. 4 hours is good in my opinion, because when you did this, you may see the not set on your landing page reports, because Google don't know when you come back to your tab and do any activity. Google don't know which page you are on right now. So you can solve this not set problem with this setting. And the other thing is engage sessions. Its default came as 10 seconds, but if your business needs are different, for example, if your website is focusing more on informational things, you can change this engage session time from here. Yeah. Exclude internal traffic. It's classic. Even in universal analytics, we give this advice. People think like, okay, I have a small website, I have low traffic, so I don't need to change, I don't need to add my IP address, I don't need to exclude my traffic from website. But it's wrong, because as a master user, we are visiting our website very frequently, and we are doing some key activities like testing our forms. So it manipulates our Google Ads data, Google Analytics data. So you can change it under the data streams, under the configure text settings. You will see define internal traffic. You will learn your IP address from the internet with a basic Google search and add it to here. Also, you should, if you are working at office, your office has an IP address, you should add the IP address here, and you should also add your colleague's IP address here. So it's not done yet. You need to activate this filter after you exclude your IP address. And the other thing is key events, aka conversions. You can add events on Google Analytics, but you need to mark them as key events to see them as conversion. People think like, okay, what's gonna do if I'm not gonna do that? In here, if you're not gonna do that, you can see the advertising section and its details. So you need to mark the important events as key events for getting better reports from GA4. And maybe if you are in e-commerce, you see that you can add conversion value to your conversions. But if you are not in e-commerce, you can also do that. Think about, you have two different conversions. One of them is newsletter sign up, the other is book a demo. We know that book a demo is more valuable than newsletter sign up. So in the count, we will see the numbers of the conversions. But if we give the book a demo $100 and give newsletter sign up $5, we will see the effect of the value of these conversions at the end of the day. So I definitely recommend it to imply to your strategy. And the next one is user ID, cross-device, and logged users. So Google, we are in 2025, and Google still don't know you are using multiple devices to enter a website. So it's horrible. But how can we fix it? We can fix it with user IDs. If your website has users, so you can give user IDs to these users. And if you use Tag Manager or different tools to implement user ID to GA4, Google will know they are the same person. So in your reports, you will see more accurate results as unique visitors. And how it looks like the app instance ID, client ID, device ID. You will see the long ones here, and the user IDs here. So you need to test it when you implement it, because when you setting up, there are some inaccurate setups. Don't always use GA4 debugger to test it. And after that, when you collect the user IDs, you have a new dimension on GA4, like sign in with user ID. So with this dimension, you will see a new segment on your report, so you can see just logged in users traffic, logged in users report as there. And the next one is unwanted referral. If you are in e-commerce, your visitors needs to exit your website for purchase stage, like they need to visit the third-party payment provider for the purchase. So in your reports, you will see the PayPal Stripe as a source of your conversion. We don't want it because we know that they are not, but as a technically they are referrals, and Google write this payment processor as referrals. So we need to add them under the list unwanted referrals. And the other important thing is Google trying to collect email data from your users, from the URLs or your forms. Under the redact data, it's also under the data stream settings. You need to unmark this checkbox because this is a big no-no from the GDPR perspective. So you just need to check it. And don't forget register custom dimensions. We are using custom dimensions for collecting our users or our events more detailed. We are almost setting up from Tag Manager, but we also need to create custom dimension with the same name of the that we using Google Tag Manager. So you need to add it here. I see some cases in my clients. You need to check it. And unassigned traffic, it's like non-set, but it's different. When you check the default channel grouping, we see direct, organic search, paid social. That's so good. But there is one more thing, unassigned. What is unassigned? When Google couldn't classify your website traffic, your referrals, it says it unassigned. So why? Because of the UTM parameter mostly. If you don't use the right UTM parameters, Google say it's unassigned. You need to check your cross-domain tracking. You also need to check your event configuration and reporting identity, and maybe you want to get rid of this session default channel group and create your own default channel group. We will check detailed all of them. So let's start with the UTM strategy. Google has rules for grouping this source and mediums as a channel. So in there, let's focus on paid social. Paid social says source match a regex list of social sites like Facebook, Twitter, and it says medium match regex PPC, retarget, paid, or CP. So in this example, you will see we have a URL, it's test.com, and we have UTM parameters. And here, let's check our UTM source, it's Facebook. When we check our rules, Google rules, source match the reject list of social sites. Yes, Facebook is one of the social sites, we know that. That part is correct. But when we check the UTM medium, we say FB-add. So when we check the rules, medium match rejects CP, PPC, retargeting, paid. Here, FB-add is not system-defined traffic medium, so Google will label it as unassigned. When we fix it, when we fix the UTM medium as paid, Google will label all the traffic from this URL under the paid social. There is a small tool, utmprep.com, UTM hypervalidator. You should check it. So before you publish your UTM link, you will see before which channel group is it gonna be. And reporting identity, it's under the settings. So GA4 has 3 different reporting identity. The first one is device-based. It captures all your devices, IDs from your different devices. And the second one is observed. It also uses your user IDs. And the blended one, it uses modeling. So at modeling, Google uses estimations for predicting your missing data to show you the correct data. So if you are running a small business and if you have a small traffic but not logged in users, you can go with device-based. If you have small traffic but have some users, you should choose observed. And if you have bigger clients, you should choose blended for to get most accurate data from Google. And the custom channel group, I will show you an example also. In here, we will create a new group to track AI traffic from different LLMs or different AI websites. So under the settings, under the data display section, we will see channel groups. In here, we see the default channel group. Basically, we will duplicate it, and then we will add a new channel. When we are adding new channel, we can give a name for it. We say AI traffic, and source, we should say we should give the AI LLM's website like OpenAI, Copilot, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Gemini, and we can say if the domain is AI domain, get this traffic to this channel. So after we set this, we can change the order and then we create reports like this. So in here you will see a report with your new channel grouping, and here you will see Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity. So one of my clients told me we are not focusing on paid social, the cross channel, no, PMX campaigns. It's defined as cross network. So we just say they are paid traffic. So in here you can also change the definitions of these channel names. So we can give just a paid name for a channel and give all the traffic from paid to there. You can customize it for your own needs. So Google Ads data in GA4, we are all paid people. We need to know where this Google Ads connection data, where we can see the Google Ads data in GA4. We can basically link Google Ads with GA4 under the setting tab. But at the final step, you will see there is an important message. Import Google Analytics audiences after linking. So you need to mark it because you can use this Google Analytics data on your Google Ads campaigns. So don't forget it. The first one is we see the Google Ads campaigns under the acquisition overview reports. It's session-based reports, and when you click the details, you will see these reports. It's Google Ads campaign session, Google Ads campaign reports. You can modify these reports, add new metrics, tailor your needs. So the second one is not session-based, it's user-based report. It's focusing on first users. It's also under acquisition reports. So if you are focusing more first touch attribution, this report is very essential for you. So you can see your Google Ads campaigns or even Google Ads ad network type here. And the traffic acquisition reports, you will see Google Ads campaigns, but you will also see your other campaigns like your TikTok campaigns, Facebook campaigns, even your affiliate campaigns if you give a proper UTM names, if you give proper UTMs for these campaigns. And you can also see Google Ads data in exploration reports, and Google Analytics has a specific Google Ads focus reports in here under the advertising section. In here, you will see the ROAS and also the key events from your campaigns or from your ad group. And yeah, that's all from here. And we have custom reports. I like this section because I love using Looker Studio, but sometimes I need some quick reports with a template. Google has a good template library for it, so you can create a quick reports from here. For example, if you want to track your user journey, you can create path exploration reports and give the event names and see how user navigating in your website. So also you can create an exit page report. Basically, you can just choose the metrics, values, dimensions, even if you are using some segments in here. That's for now. The next thing is custom segments. You will remember it here. So you can create custom segments in Google Analytics. So Google has some defined segments like direct traffic, organic traffic, but also has some templates like recently active users or purchasers, or you can create segments from three different perspectives. The first one is user segment, the second is session, the third one is event. So the user segments include all the events of users in a certain category that you will give on your filter. So session will also include all the sessions that users do, and events also includes all the events that users do in certain conditions. So in more details, we have a screen like this. You can include or exclude users, sessions, or events. You can use dimensions or metrics of GA4 here. You can even do complex targetings with using ad condition groups or ad sequences. In the right screen, you will see, for example, how much user you include or how much users you exclude. So, for example, in here I say I will include who performed the add to cart event, and exclude who not perform purchase event. So it gives us a 5K audience in summary. When I click the build an audience, I can also build an audience from this segment, and I can send it to Google Ads and use it in our campaigns. So we see the segments, but now we can also create predictive audiences using GA4. So it's, I guess, a very cool function of GA4 if you are in e-commerce, and you should use it. But most of the time you will see not eligible to use in eligibility status. You need some criteria for it. Let me okay, is it working? Let me check it. Okay, so you need some users and events for using these predictive audiences. For example, you need at least 1,000 returning users who performed purchase or churn events, or and also you need at least 1,000 returning users must not perform these events. You need a sustainable data for using these audiences. Also, you need to collect and send value and currency to GA4 for using these predictive audiences. Google use machine learning models to predict, for example, who will gonna be churn in 7 days, or who will gonna be a top spenders in 4 months. So the good part is you can use these audiences in your Google Ads campaigns, because we linked our Google Analytics and Google Ads, so we can give more focus on these audiences in our campaigns. Also, there are built-in audiences, but you can also change the criteria from there. So the last one is attribution paths. Yeah, it's a good start for the attribution. It's a good report, but for me, the main problem is I want to filter it. For example, I want to see just the touch of organic search in my conversions. There is a good template for it. You can get it from there. After you download this report and add it to your Google Sheet, with this template you can get some better reporting than Google Analytics. For example, you will see how to find average days to key events. You can filter it. You can see the sum of the revenue from there. And yes, we are all done today. I will try to be quick as I can to give you to tell you every slide. So if you enjoy talking about analytics or growth or digital marketing or even animes, please connect me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.
Wow, this has been an insights-packed event, and it's not over yet. We're about to have a live panel with some of our speakers and the founder of PPC Live, Anu Adegbola. If you have any questions at all and you're watching this live, please type them into the chat. We're going to go ahead and bring our speakers back on screen now.
Hello, everyone. And I'm so excited to have two of our fantastic speakers that you just saw give such detailed talks. For someone like Russell McAthy, especially, I've known Russell for a while. Like when he came right after your talk, Gokce, and he was like, "Oh my God, you did such a great job. I feel so stupid coming out to you." That really made me laugh. And that really, warmed my heart. I mean, I already knew I was having a fantastic set of speakers coming up, but each other to really recognize that, you're amongst like people who know their stuff. We had such a great lineup. And I think that's probably one of the most viewed of our PPC online talks that we've had so far. So I'm really grateful to you all. And so yeah, when looking at the recording of what you guys just watched there, is there any, just off the cuff, anything that you're like, oh, maybe I should have added that when I was talking? Is any thoughts that you have about your talk that you've just given, that you just heard? Gokce, I'll come to you first.
Okay, first of all, thank you for having us, Anu.
A pleasure.
And thanks for the Jyll as well. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to mention one thing about my ad copy test. When I run this test, the ChatGPT 4.0 and Claude 3.5 Sonnet was the latest models. So I just run my ad copy testing with the latest models at that time. But now we have more models that we can run. So I highly recommend to use the latest AI models versions when you are crafting your ad copies. I want to mention that.
Amazing. And how about you, Baris? So how about, just looking at that talk, it was, I don't think you left anything out. I'll personally confess, and this is the privilege of being the person that, you know, gets all these decks and gets all the slides literally like 2 days after the talk, like let's say like on February the 8th or something. I put up your slides, I put up the analytics of PPC Live, went to GA4. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
slide by
they're
slide. Okay,
amazing.
what he said I should do, that. And it was so useful. And there were some things, you know, I hadn't turned on yet. And your slides, I went through your slides. Oh, I've not done that yet. Okay, need to do that. Not done that yet. And we were all like,
Yeah,
yeah, GA4 came around. Wasn't last year? It wasn't last year, 2023, that the GA4. It's been over a year, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
almost a year for the sunset. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what if you feel like, is there anything that you think maybe you didn't get time to
Yeah,
say
I
on
mean,
that talk that you'd love
maybe
to
I
add?
can. Yeah, maybe I can more focus on the exploration reports because
Mhm.
I'm using it daily, regularly.
Mm.
I have many report templates in my library, so maybe I can add them. So maybe I can share it with a LinkedIn post
Okay.
or blog post. Yeah, because as I said in my presentation, I love Looker Studio
Yeah.
with GA4, but you can create very quick reports, so that can be helpful to people who are using GA4. And
Amazing.
by the
So
way, thank you for having me, and thank you for this great community, and Jill, thank you so much.
no worries, my pleasure. Yeah, it's such a great community we have here, and such a
Yeah,
inquisitive and, you know, community that just like eager to see someone that is willing to talk about a particular topic, and people show up. People are very like, yeah, curious
sure.
about what new thing to learn. So we're really grateful that, you know, you did all that work, and it's really cool to what you call it, to know that there's someone who like you, who loves the numbers. You're a financial person, and I think we're going to have a longer relationship, Baris, than you just speaking.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah,
going to need you to create some resources for our resource page
yeah,
that I've created on PPC Live, so that people can go there and really feel that they've got a good handle on GA4.
yeah, sure, we
So yeah,
should.
let's not forget that we've still got our fantastic audience with us right now, that who have given us some really great questions for this panel session. So we've got Usman Khan asking, can we generate ad copies and headlines using ChatGPT? I gave him a quick yes, you can, because I'm like, that's really like the obvious answer. But you know, I imagine he's not just asking, you know, going for a yes, no answer. What more can you add to that, Gokce?
Mhm. First of all, thank you for the question. Yes, we can generate ad copies, headlines with using help of AI, especially in with the ChatGPT, and it's good to generate ad copies with the AI models. But I believe human and AI collaboration is the best. After you created your ad copies, check them, and maybe you can add your unique things in your ad copies. And as I discussed in my presentation, I mentioned the prompt techniques that you can use. I highly recommend using these kind of prompts when you are generating your ad copies, because it's important to feed your prompt with many important things, and don't lean only one AI model, such as ChatGPT. Try Claude, DeepSeek, Gemini, and also try their latest versions as well. Compare them and analyze the results, outputs, and then determine what you are gonna use.
Absolutely. I think that's a very great point. I think we are in this state where people are using a lot of AI, and that's good, but there can be a very much over reliance on it, because one thing people I think underestimate is how young it still is. Even paid search in terms of the
Yeah.
world of advertising is young. Talk less of AI in paid search. There's so many things it will get wrong, but sometimes we'll get things right. And you did one of the tests, Gotcha. I remember from your slides is that you did the human one, the Chat GPT and Claude and like Perplexity, and one of them, the human one, actually won out. And now that's not a message for us to go, okay, yeah, AI, ads will never work. For that particular case study, it didn't work, and then you choose the better one that would work, and you keep pushing. You keep testing those mixtures for each new campaign type, each new, use case, each new campaign, to see which one will work better. That's how you do best by your client, I think.
Yes, definitely, and it can be depends on your budget, your industry. I highly recommend to test.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any experience here? Do either of you, because before I even go to the next question, who has experience on running scripts? Gokce, Baris, or either of you run scripts?
Yeah, I have, but the basic scripts, I mean, the main people sharing very good scripts, especially on LinkedIn. So I always download it and try it. For example, the PMax script is a lifesaver
Nice.
for all of us. But I didn't have any specific custom scripts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just coming to like, yeah, Mandeep, we saw your question there where you asked, is there any way we can write a script with
Mhm.
with Chat GPT to analyze ads performance in the best way? And yes, there is. There are several ways.
Yeah.
And somebody who does has done talks about this, and I'm sure there'll be versions of this talk online, is Frederick Valles of Optimizer. Yeah, he is the guy that right now,
Yeah.
literally, that's what he's doing. He's doing the rounds with different conferences of telling you how to prompt Chat GPT to put code together that would then help you analyze something. And he actually goes you step by step format of that. So yeah, look him up on YouTube. Their YouTube videos
Yes,
are very good for that, where he goes through step by step instructions of doing things, whether it's with scripts or with Chat GPT. Automation is his bread and butter, and so he's the best person, really, I'd say, to do that. Now, some of the rest of these questions, I think they're probably for Russell, and I will make a note here that there is an obvious absence of Russell being here, because
Yeah.
if all our speakers came on, then there's no incentive for people to come in person. So you see, so even if Russell is watching this, you were not missed out, Russell. It was on purpose that we didn't want all our speakers. And I didn't know how much you were going to swear live, and I couldn't take that chance. we all experienced your potty mouth, Russell's potty mouth in person. So I didn't necessarily want to risk it. No, but Russell is definitely one of those where like he's been working in the world of attribution and last click and first click for many years. So these questions where Mandip asks about, do you use last touch or first touch attribution in calculations? Chris asks, Russell, which is your preferred method of defining and add to cart, as well as what are your 3 favorite graph types. Those questions we're going to pass on to Russell. We're going to, there's going to be a wrap-up post, on our blog that we're going to put up there in a few weeks, and I will make sure that Russell gives us answers to those questions. So guys, go to ppc.live, go to sign up to our newsletter, and you'll be the first to get information about when that blog post goes live, and so that you can get those answers to those questions. But yeah, before we, because I've still got also got like a couple of questions on my mind. Like, I'm like, let's take this opportunity, especially we had a lovely in-person panel questions, and some of those questions I thought were really good in terms of like thinking about what is the future. What's the future of using different AI tools with paid search? One that I've heard is that it will be, what's the word? Democratize, I think is the word, where basically there will just be one, possibility of using AI, and all the different tools will feed into that, that they're different types, but it wouldn't be people trying to use different tools. It would just literally be you use AI plugin into it and all the tools plug into that, because you'll need to want to give users a choice. That's my idea, and I think that could be a possible way in terms of how AI is going to be used in advertising. What do you guys think?
Yes, definitely. We will see more AI things in both ads platforms, and we will also see new AI tools for enhance our paid strategies. ChatGPT added the search thing in the interface. I believe maybe they can monetize the ChatGPT, and maybe they can we can serve our ads in the AI models interface. Maybe they can the future can craft like that. Maybe we can advertise on the AI models as well, but not in the near future, I guess. For the near future, we have to adapt the AI models, and I believe we can use AI as much as we can to for our analysis, for our strategies, keyword research, in many areas.
Okay.
Gokce, the point, I mean, for the user habits perspective, it's changing very quickly with AI. So people are using LLMs more and more, and maybe we should consider to change our budgets, change our strategy for the advertising, because in the near future, maybe we see the monetization on the interfaces. But for the Google wise, for the Meta wise, there are many tools trying to automate of the management process of the accounts. But I guess the main problem is the AI, the current version, needs to be more focused on specific industries. For example, when you are running campaigns on or in e-commerce or B2B SaaS, it's different. But now the current models and the current tools acting like they are all the same, and maybe in the near future we will see more tools focusing on more specific industries, and maybe that will work better than now.
No, absolutely. That's very true. Like in terms of like industry specific things, yeah, that is really what I've definitely seen in terms of like writing for search engine land. There's loads of Google updates that are very much like this update is for the hotel industry, or this update is for travel industry, or this update is for automotive, that kind of stuff. So yes, that's very a good point, Baris, in terms of like we are definitely going to see a lot of things that are specific to a particular industry. Because in terms of like the large scale creating, like, you know, the PPC paid search ecosystem, that's pretty much there. It's now making things more specific for even like small businesses. I'm starting
Yeah.
to see like even Google listening a little bit more. They wouldn't necessarily say that they're creating this for small businesses, but there have been specific updates that I've seen that's like, this for if you've got a big account, this kind of update doesn't really make sense for you. So
Yes,
it really is the small businesses. So like even recently, Google announced that its AI tool Imagen 3 is going to be it's going to allow people who prompt it to actually create like different demographics of the AI image that they see. So it's going to be like doing like lifestyle human images that's actually accurate. I think a lot of the times
yeah.
you say I want an image of people sitting around a desk, and Google and the tool can give you anything. I think my colleague who I do like the show with, Greg Finn, was like, yeah, he asked for a picture for people sitting around a desk, and it was pumpkins that the image came out with, and you're like, yeah, they need to do better than that.
Yes.
So doing things more specific for industry and just the evolving of how it actually becomes better, there's really very much room for it. And Barish, I think this one is for you as well. Like we've got Kevin Kapoor asking, could you please shed some light on offline conversions? And you know, even like in terms of like settings that people should be focusing on, does GA4 have
Mhm.
direct settings for how to help offline conversions?
Yeah, I mean, you can set up offline conversions. You can send your offline data to the A4 with the help of the API. Uh, I mean, it's important for Google Ads. It's also more important because if you are especially working in B2B, you need to verify your leads, they are real or not. So you need to send some offline data in some cases. Uh, so it's essential setup for many cases. But if you are in B2B and if you are using CRMs like HubSpot or using some CDPs like Segment, if you push your offline conversion data to this tool, I will say CDP, Customer Data Platform, you can send this data from, for example, HubSpot to GA4 or Segment to GA4. So with this method, you can easily unify all of your data sources in one point. So you will see less discrepancy within, for example, Google Ads, Google Analytics. Yeah, basically, I can say this one.
Amazing. And yeah, I'm just thinking about GA4 in general and how it works. This is a question that really just popped in my head, and apologies if it's not a question that makes sense, because I was in GA4, the other day, and I'm not even sure I understand whether it's showing me the right thing. I think sometimes that's it for me. I'm just trusting the data, but I'm not 100% sure whether the data is correct, and I don't even necessarily know how to test whether the
Yeah.
data I'm seeing is correct. But like in your experience, which like channels, whether it's in paid search or like the different campaign types, so like there's PMAX, there's demand gen, there's like just normal text ads, which of the channels or different campaign types is the hardest you find to track, that GA4 finds to track, or is the one that gives the, because I know there'll always be a little bit of discrepancy of data, but which one has like the most discrepancy of data that we really should be wary of in terms of campaign type?
I mean, for the PMAX campaign and brand campaigns, I can say, because the distribution methodology in Google Ads and in GA4 is different. One of them is event-based. The other one is more the conversion-based. So we see many differences in the interface. And the session times also different in Google Ads. It starts to count when the user see the ads, but in GA4 it starts when the user visit your website.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to unify this data, but
Yeah.
you should do some settings to, I mean, you can't do the same, but you can, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so like PMAX is the one that we should be wary of. That is quite difficult for us. Which one has been the easiest? That is usually like for like in terms of data.
Yeah, I mean, the search campaigns, the basics ones, I guess.
Those are basics like search text campaigns. Those are the easiest ones. Yeah. But that's not the ones that Google actually wants us to use. You'd think that the campaign that they really want us to use the most in terms of PMAX will have the same kind of data in all their platforms, right? You think that it will be the same for
Yeah.
Google Ads and in GA4. It's all Google. But yeah. Oh, they don't make things easy for us, do they? So yeah, and if their support was made much better, maybe we'd have faith in that as well. But we'll see. Um, and yeah, well, I don't see any more questions. Let me double check that. No. So like what's one thing I'd say, almost like podcast style, because I run a podcast as well. Sometimes my podcast brains comes into place. Like, what's one thing that you want to leave? We're quite, it's still quite in the early, 2025, February. What's one thing you want to, let's say, leave our audience with to motivate them for this year to, kind of tell them that, yeah, their hard work will pay off, and how to keep people motivated for what could
Yeah.
come for this year. Gokce, I'll go to you.
I can say don't scare about the AI models. Use them, get familiarized with them, and get benefit from them. Even if the small tasks, you can easily ask and get benefit from them, and use as much as you can, because you can find great insights from AI as well. And also, in these times, I love ChatGPT o3 Mini High model. I can recommend to using that version, but we all know we will see there are more advanced versions will be published. So keep up the latest AI trends as well.
Fantastic. And you, Baris?
Yeah, I mean, for the AI, it's, I mean, improving very fast, but the AI adaptability is still very low in the community, in the world. So we have an advantage because we are using AI, we are familiar with the interface, and we are using many forms of AI in our life. So don't forget that we have an advantage, and it's I mean, it can be the best assistant for you in your daily job. So I mean, focus on making new things, and AI will help you on that. For example, we can I mean, I can basically create some Google app scripts with the AI. Normally, I always ask for help from some of my developer friends, but now it will just take 20 minutes, even with no-code people. So use it more.
Amazing. Yes, guys, use it more. AI is here to help us, but make sure it's more of a collaborative kind of way they're doing it. Don't just hand over
Yes,
all your task to AI. So yeah, we're in the best hands, and we are the people to do it. If you're a paid search expert, you should not worry. It's those who are, trying to use it as a shortcut. So yeah, thank you so much. And also want to give a big shout out to Jyll, who has been on the back end. As you heard her, like when she was doing the intro, her voice has not been great. She's been down ill with something. So Jyll, I'm so grateful to you. A big shout out to you for really being rounding us together, keeping the questions going. You've pretty much been doing like a lovely project management with us here today. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Gokce. Thank you, Baris. And thank you to our fantastic audience and all our listeners here who are watching it live, or if you're watching it on replay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.